Hi all, this is Pritha. Today I am going to talk about Google Trans library in Python. So Python provides several translation libraries for translating text documents or strings. So some of them are paid and some of them are free. So today I will talk about one of the very popular free translating library in Python, that is Google Trans. And in my next video I will show you how to do the same thing in using another library called Google GoSlate. So I will show you in Jupyter Notebook step by step, so that it will be more understandable for you. So before proceeding, uh, I want to make sure one thing, like the limitation of this library. So there is a maximum character limit on single text, the maximum, and also there is a daily usage limit. Also, this does not provide the support for, or the translation support for, all of the language. It has a very limited dictionary. And if you are giving some other language which is not there in the dictionary, it won't support that. Also, I have seen in my research that it supports very well for European languages, but not for some local languages which is not European. And it is not very reliable. So if you are using for an enterprise use, for a critical use, and you want 100% reliability, you should go and check some other APIs. So there are Google Cloud API, Cloud Translate API, and there are some paid APIs, so you can use that. But if it is not that critical, suppose you are getting data from your source and only some of your data needs to be translated, then you can use this API, because the syntax is very simple, very easy to use. Um, and especially if you are translating to English, this will work very well. So first thing first, uh, first you need to install this library. So for me it is already installed, so it is showing requirements already satisfied. Now I will import the necessary libraries. So I have to import Google Trans library itself, then translator from Google Trans and languages from Google Trans. Okay, now the necessary libraries are imported. So you have to initiate the translator. So I'm initializing the translator. Then you have to write the actual translation code. So this is my actual translation code. I am taking the translation in a variable called translated. So the method is translate, and it takes two input. Here it took two input. One is the string which I want to translate. So you can see this Hola Mundo, this is a foreign language, this is not English. I don't know which language is this, I will show you later, but this is a foreign language and destination language is English. So I'm passing this syntax. So this is one way of the syntax. The syntax we can write in three ways. I will show you next. So yeah, so it got translated. Now if you want to print this translated uh, variable is an object. Actually this translate methods returns an object. So print this translated object. See, this translated object got printed. It has these parameters. source it is showing es. So I'm here I am not able to understand which is the source actually, so I will show you how you can get the source language name by this particular two character key. Destination is en, that is English. Text is hello world, it is the translated text. Pronunciation is hello world. And this is some extra data, I'm not sure. So here this extra here we can give many things like origin. If I am giving origin, then this hola mundo will be printed. So how we will print the translated text? Translated dot text. See, it printed hello world. Now if you want to print the translated source, right, so what you will do is you need to print this parameter. What you will do? See, it is yes. But from this two character key, you are not able to understand which language is this. For that purpose, we need this languages library. This languages library has a dictionary which has key value pairs, like which has languages that it supports in key value pairs. En for English, Hi for Hindi, or Es for some language. So how you can get the full name? Have to go to this languages library. So just print languages of translated src. See, this is Spanish. So to explain this code, first I will show you what the languages library is. So for that you just do print languages. See, here languages are in key value pair. A for African, GL for Galician. So all of these are like that. So here something will be ES for Spanish. See, ES for Spanish. So this is a dictionary kind of an architecture. So this is the key, ES is the key, and Spanish is the value. So if you pass this key in this dictionary, with this dictionary, it will give you the value of that corresponding key. That is what I did here. I got the translated text, that is a translated source, that is ES. I passed this ES in this languages dictionary and it gave me the value of ES, that is Spanish. If you are well known with the dictionary structure in Python, you will understand this thing very clearly. So this thing I have already showed you. This translate API this translate method will give you a translated object which will have this particular, all these features, all these variables. So source, destination, text I have shown you. So origin. Now if you want to print the origin, means the actual language, you can do that by using translated.origin. You can also print translated.destination to see which destination, in which destination language you have translated it. it will be English. Then you can also see the pronunciation. For that you can use translated dot pronunciation. So you can use all the variables of this object, all the parameters of this object to see what is happening. So it will give you the English pronunciation of that Hola Mondo. It is Hello World. Hi. So now I will show you what are the different syntaxes that you can provide in this for this translation. So this was one of the syntax where you mentioned the source string which needs to be translated and the destination language. So there are many other ways to do that. First of all, if you are not passing the destination language, if you are only passing the source string, it will automatically translate it into English language. See, it didn't give any error. To see the translated text, so you can, if you want to translate in English, you can only pass the source string, but for any other language translation you need to pass the destination language. So then you can pass only the source language, and you are not passing the destination languages, so it will automatically take the destination language as English. So the source languages was Korean. This was my source string and it means hi. You can pass only the destination. This one I have shown you, and you can pass both source destination both. So let me make it Korean because English translation we have already seen. So Hola Mundo, that is yes, or Spanish, it will be translated to Korean. So we will see what happened. So this is the Korean language for Hola Mondo. Now I cannot seriously debug this Korean language, so we have to agree that this is what Hola Mondo or Hello World means there. So if I want to print the pronunciation for this in Korean, it could not give because if I am translating in English, it is giving me the English translation pronunciation, but when it got translated to Korean, it could not give me an English translation for the Korean version of Hola Mundo or Hello World. So that's why it is showing none. So you can give several languages. You can play around with different source strings, basic daily uses language, different source, different taste, and see the pronunciations and all what and all you are getting. But if you would have given this destination English, then you should have surely got some pronunciation, but it is not able to pronunciate Hola Mondo in Korean, so you are not getting. So you can try with one another example I have given, that is transferring from Korean to Japanese. So this particular string is getting translated from Korean to Japanese. We want to get the source, get the text, and get the pronunciation. Let's fire the code. Source is Korean, translated text is this, and pronunciation is konnichiwa. So in this case it gave the pronunciation. So for everything it does not have the pronunciation, but some of the cases it will give. You can play around with the text, different source and destination, and see. But this is some written in English. Why? So that you can understand how this particular translated string is pronunciated in this language. So okay, now these are like we were passing only one string at a time. Now if you want to translate an array, so or a list, what you can do. So let me first create a list. So this is my list. Okay, this is my list. And now I will similar way I was passing each particular string in translate method. Here I will pass the entire array in the translate method. So I will just take this and replace it with the list name. Okay. So now because it is a list, so it has four strings, and four strings got translated to four new strings in the destination languages. So if I want to print the translated list, I have to run a loop, and then for each element I have to print the text. So first, for your understanding, you can print this list itself. See, it has these four objects, because I told you this translated method gives an object. When you are passing one string, it is giving you one object which is having all this source, text, destination, pronunciation, origin, these parameters. So you passed four strings here with within a list. So it gave you four objects. So if you want to get each text in translated language, you have to run a loop. So this is my loop for translated and translated list for each element actually. So we will print the translate origin, then we will print the translated destination, which language I am transferring. So I want to print the full name of the destination language, so that's why I am giving it in a languages. I am passing it in the languages dictionary so that I can get the value of the full uh, name of the destination languages, and then it is translation text. So run this loop and you got this. Hello world, it got translated in Japanese. This is the translated text. Sorry, this is. So like that I got. So for 4 I got. You could have printed the pronunciation also. If you want, you can print. Why to write? Just copy from here. See, in this case, you didn't get any pronunciation. Maybe it in this library's dictionary, it could not pronunciate these languages, so it didn't get any pronunciation. So you can play around it, where you were getting, where you were not getting. Now there is another feature called detect. Google Trans also provides a detect API, means if it is 100% in all the above cases, what happened is we gave a text in a language which is present in the languages library. So it got an exact match and it told you, okay, this is the language and I can translate it in the destination language, and it gave you the translated text. But here every time we gave the exact text and it got the exact match. What if we couldn't give an exact text, a correct text, and it didn't get an exact match in its library of languages? Then this detect feature comes into play. Like it will show you with how much confidence. So if it is not getting an exact match, it will internally try to find the best match and give you that best match destination language and or best match translation with some confidence. So seeing the confidence level, you can see, okay, this is not a best match. You can understand. So let us first give this detect. Also, I will give the translated text trans. So this print statement is actually printing the detected language with confidence of what, and translated text. So this detect method has these features called language, that is the detected language, and the confidence. So why it is detected language? Because if it comes into play when you are not getting a exact match. Here I showed you when it got an exact match. So it has Spanish language in its library, in its dictionary, and it got hola mondo is a correct Spanish word. So it got a correct match and it gave the detected language as Spanish with confidence 1. Confidence lies between 0 to 1. 0 means no confidence, 1 means very high confidence, like sure, and in between that is a gray area when it is not getting an exact match. So now, what if I just tweak this, this string? Instead of hola mundo, I will give I will just remove these two. Okay, so now it is not a correct word, and I will print. I'm not printing this I'm not translating. I will just print this confidence up to this confidence. See, it thought it is some Hindi language with confidence 447. So see, you just remove two characters from Hola Mundo and it is not able to get an exact match. So internally it ran some algorithm and detected some best match with confidence 0.447, and it is saying it is Hindi. So by this confidence level, so if your input stream is like that, you are not even sure whether that is a correct language or not, then you can also print this confidence level, and later in the output when you will see this confidence level, you will be understanding, okay, the confidence level is not 1, it is very low, it is 447. So the detected language or the translated text might be wrong, because if the detected language is wrong, then the destination language will also be wrong, so the translation will be wrong. So let's see the translation. I mean, what happens if I'm giving this translation? Okay, sorry. It gave the attribute error is detect has no attribute called text, because I gave instead of translate I gave detect, so that's why this error came. Whole glance it is showing, because it is not able to detect the destiny, the actual language, the actual word, the source language. So it is translating in something, I mean, with 4.44 confidence, which is very less, so it is giving error. So if you are not sure that your source is correct or your source input stream is correct, you can also use this detect method, and you can also print the confidence, so that from the confidence you will get to understand which one should you consider and which one should you discard. So now that's all about the methods in Google Trans library. It is pretty easy to use. Now I will show you one other syntax. What if you want to translate a CSV file having foreign languages in one or two columns? You want to translate them and create a new CSV file, or you want to translate them in the same CSV file, or you want to rewrite the CSV file, whatever. So for that we have a slight tweak in the code. So I have created one CSV file using foreign words. So this CSV file has two fields. One is taken from, that is in English only, and one is the original word column where the foreign words are there. So now I want to get a target Excel. Like translated word, source language key, that is the two character key, and source language. So like that I want to get the translated word, the source language key, and the full source language. What we can do is, first, because we are doing it with CSV files, so in code we will use pandas, because pandas and CSV file has a very good, synchronization. So you have to use pandas. So import these libraries. Okay, and then read the CSV file in a pandas data frame. So first you have to obviously initialize the translator. Then read the CSV file with encoding Latin 1. This I want to highlight, because this Google Trans library is very much synchronized with this encoding standard Latin 1. If you use something else, it might give some special character in the destination CSV. I mean, that is something I saw in doing my research. So you can also see what is happening and get back to me. So the column headers. Now I need to just print the DF once so that so this is my data frame. This is column 1, column 2, and these are all the values. Now I will, because in the destination file I need these 3 columns, extra columns, right? For that, here in the code I have to initialize 3 empty lists so that we can append the list later and then can append it to the data frame. Okay, so now because it is a CSV file you imported in a pandas data frame, it is a low column kind of tabular thing, and for each particular row you have to get the translated text. For each element you have to get it, so you have to run a loop. So I have run a loop here and appended in the lists. So I'm running a loop. So for each element in df.original word, so this loop will go like this. For each element in df data frame's original word column, it will loop and it will translate each words and it will append to the existing empty lists. So run this. So see, for every element in df's original word, what I'm doing is I'm appending that element. I'm first translating that element by translated.translate element. Then I'm taking the text of the translated object. So this particular thing will give me the translated text of this particular element of original word, and that I'm appending with the existing list, that is translated words. Similarly, for source lang key, I am first translating the element, taking the source and appending with it with the source lang key. So this will give me the two character key value of the source language. So same thing I am passing to the languages dictionary and appending the same with the source full language. So once this for loop is complete, these all 3 lists will have their corresponding data. So just print one. So see, it actually has the translated text. So now again we need to append it to the data frame. So df.translated word is translated words list. This list I am assigning here, this list I am assigning here. So now you can print the df again. So see, there are 5 columns now. All these 3 new columns got added. Now I will create a CSV with this. So today is 19th April. So this one is my translated book, and see, this is the book. So for for favor it is please, and so all these translated texts are there, language key is there, full length language is there. So I hope the video was useful if you are very new to this translation libraries in Python or even Python. Uh, and in my next tutorial, I will show how to use Ghostlet library to translate the text. So if you find this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. And also, if you have any suggestions, feedback, please comment in the below section. So thank you.